Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and this week we're going to take a look at something you can only do on a couple of different lakes here in Michigan, and that's spearing perch. I was able to head out on a trip with my good friend Jim Felgenauer, who's kind of a perch spearing guru on Lake St. Clair. Jimmy's also got some other fun stuff for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show, and for most of our viewers in the Upper Peninsula, Northern Michigan, and even Western Michigan, we still have a lot of snow on the ground. But in South Central Michigan and Southeastern Michigan, there isn't much snow on the ground, which means some folks are getting out and doing a little shed hunting. We're going to have a tip on shed antler dogs, let you see what that's all about. We're also going to have a walleye recipe, and we're going to start this week's episode by actually chasing some steelhead on the Grand River. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan Out of Doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and Northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Well, we're in Granville, Johnson Park. We're gonna fish the Grand this morning for some steelhead. Conditions are right. Hopefully we got some fish in here.
And who do you got with you today?
I got my cousin Steve Lipsky with me, back bouncer extraordinaire.
Beautiful.
So we're gonna big back bounce some spawn, maybe run some plugs, see what happens.
Dan and his cousin Steve are great guys to hit the water with. They know their stuff and they love every minute on the water. Dan had been finding a few steelhead of late, and with his latest batch of spawn, we had high hopes.
Yeah, these are pretty good size. In the Grand here, I always seem to have better luck with bigger bags.
Okay.
Plus the water's a little dirty today too. That'll help. We are bouncing spawn behind the boat. We got kind of a three-way rig. Leader going back to a spawn bag, and we just dropped that bait down behind the boat. It's a lot like you see guys vertical jigging for walleyes with jigs. It's a lot like that. I'm slipping the current downstream with my trolling motor and bouncing that bag behind the boat and just backing down through holes. And
Did you have any weight on there?
yeah, I've got it all depends too how much weight to use. Depends on current and depth and all that stuff, but I've got a 3/8 ounce egg sink or belt, like a bell sinker, bass casting sinker on here right now.
Now, the Grand River doesn't have quite the same reputation as other famed steelhead rivers, but one thing about it, you never know what you may catch. All right, first catch of the day.
Yeah.
What is that?
Looks like an engine belt or something like that. Who knows? In the
I
Grand.
do see a zebra mussel. They like to attach themselves to V-belts from 85 Ford.
85 Ford?
That's an 85 Ford, I'm pretty sure. most rivers that have clear water, you can kind of tell where you're supposed to fish. You know, on this river, everything is different. It's mostly a trial and error thing on the Grand. It's not what most people think of as looking like steelhead water. So it takes a lot of time to find where these fish actually hold in this river. And doing a lot of catfishing like I did for years and years, I got a chance to really learn this river where where all the fish sit. So I'm fishing a lot of the holes where I catch catfish in the spring, and there's steelhead sitting in them in the winter.
What do you got here, Danny boy?
I finally got us a steelhead, and it looked like it come out of the water back there already once. It looked like a real dark male.
We thought we were going to get skunked.
I know it. He's not in the boat yet, though.
Yeah, he was a pretty good sized fish, and he took out for the middle of the river there.
The fresh spawn finally worked.
Yes, yes.
Perfect example of like a winter bite. There was really no bite. It's just I lost contact with that steady tap of the sinker, and it was him. He just must have grabbed that bag as it slowly backed down to him.
We had been on the river for 2 to 3 hours before we had our first fish on. In fact, we had just about called it quits for the day when Dan tied into this very nice male. Now, we just needed to get him to the net.
Too far out.
Hey! Whoa! Look at that fish!
Whoa. That is a really nice fish. Just a beautiful, beautiful fish.
Well, nice job, Danny.
Yeah, we got us one.
Finally, took us a while.
I know it.
We
They
just
are
got ready
not.
to call it.
They are not jumping in the boat today, but he was definitely worth the wait. Adios. Well, we got another one, and well, we were just about to call it quits again. We seemed to get a fish.
Now, the next fish was a little smaller and seemed to be a little fresher, meaning a little more chrome or silver color. Now, netting these fish is never as easy as it looks, and getting them to the net is always a sigh of relief, especially on a day where you really have to work for them.
Yeah.
Scoop.
So there you have it, a day on the river chasing Michigan chrome. Now, the Grand River doesn't hold quite the same fish as maybe some of the more famous steelhead rivers in the state, but if you know where to look and spend your time, you can find a few of them. We did not set the world on fire today, but as you anglers know, well, not every day is like that. And in part, that's what makes fishing so addictive. You just never know what may or may not happen as you hit the water here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Several years ago, I was doing a story on perch spearing on Lake St. Clair, and I went out with a guy named Jim Felgenauer. Well, Jim and I have become great friends since then, so anytime he says he's heading out on the ice to spear perch, I'm tagging right along. When it comes to spearing perch on Lake St. Clair, there's one guy I know who can get it done, even on short notice, and that's Jim Felgenauer from Algonac.
You called me at 4 o'clock yesterday, so and I haven't had a shanty on the lake in a few years, so I scrambled a bit. Called some buddies of mine, Bill and Billy Rose. It just happened I was here yesterday. They said they had built 2 brand new shanties. The shanties haven't seen the ice yet. I begged and pleaded with them that they could put them out this morning so that we can use it. So we're using a borrowed shanty this morning, and Bill and Billy have a nice airboat. We're going to take you out, get you set up out there, show you how to set up a shanty. Hopefully we're going to be on a few fish. I did a little scouting yesterday. I saw some perch and saw 4 great big pike yesterday, and that's just through a little 5-inch auger hole. So I have a lot of confidence that we're going to do well today and see some fish. I don't know if we're going to get a lot of perch, but we should have a good time out there like we always do.
All right,
And
sounds good.
we should see some fish, maybe even get a couple of pike today.
How cold is it today?
Very cold.
That airboat ride's going to feel great. It's 8 degrees right now just standing here, so...
Yeah, and there's about a 15-mile-an-hour wind and nothing on that lake to stop it. So
awesome.
So we're going to be frozen by the time we get set up fishing.
All right, sounds good. Anything for some perch, right?
Anything for some perch. I'm excited. We're going to do well.
Jim and Billy couldn't get that shack set up fast enough, in my opinion. After they cut a nice big hole for spearing, the guys slid the shanty into position. Many people are surprised to find out that Lake St. Clair is the only place in the state where you can spear or bowfish yellow perch. The season is open for the months of January and February. Along with his bigger pike spear, Jim had his trusty old perch spear ready to go.
Old time perch spear. There's no barbs on it. This is an old spear I had from my grandfather, probably built in the 1950s.
We were ready to get in the spearing shanty and try to connect with some perch and some pike. Along with his 2 spears, Jim also operates a fish decoy and a line set up to jig for perch, too.
The jig is down here. We use that to trigger the fish to bite. So we're thinking in terms of attraction and triggering. And if the fish don't bite, then we bite them. It's right there.
You gonna go for it?
I might. I'm just in the middle of being discombobulated here. I can spear him off that side of the hole there. It's been a while. It's been a while. I missed.
Oh, well.
Actually, I think I drove him into the mud over there. I think he's over there in the mud, but he'll pop out of there in a minute.
You did get him. Look at that. I can't tell if this is going to focus or not on him, but he's down there.
All right.
Still got a foggy lens going, but right off the bat, eh? All right, how do you get him out now? You plunged him right into the mud on the bottom, huh?
Yeah, what I'll do is try to spear him again in a minute and try to see if we can't recover him.
Okay.
But we're just going to make something happen today. We're going to get some perch and we're going to get some pike today too. So, I'm going to get a decoy down and see if the fish will decoy today. Sometimes they don't. See how they're reacting to the decoy?
Yeah, they all hang out right by it, don't they?
Right by it, yeah. See when you swing it, see the quick movement? See that fish make a quick movement toward the decoy? See, they're right there. See them?
Mm-hmm.
So the decoy is going to work today, it looks like, for us. Look, we got some shad coming through. Just pretty interesting. You got to love the visual aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
These are some smaller fish. Probably nothing there in terms of keepers, which typically that's going to happen. You're going to have to work through some fish to get a few for dinner. But I think we're in a good spot here. We're in good shape, I think. So
okay.
We should be all right. Get some bait on here and get a line down. See if we can't actually catch a fish. I just got a little jig on there with actually a perch eye on it. And sometimes that's just to catch meow for bait.
As Jim was trying to coax some perch into taking his bait on the jig, he spotted a nice one coming through and wasn't going to give it a chance to get away. That's the nice thing about using a spear when the fish aren't receptive to bait.
Nice big perch right there.
Get him. We got him.
Got him. Big, beautiful perch.
Nice job.
Big jumbo fish right
Oh, yummy.
there. Oh, my God. Yeah. He just come in nice and slow and easy.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful fish right there.
Look at that. Nice job, man. You
Yeah.
just barely glanced his head. Didn't run any meat.
Yeah, not a bad shot at all. Need about a dozen more like that big guy right there. And we're going to have a heck of a meal tonight.
Jim Felgenauer sure does love ice fishing, but it's just one of his passions. In the early fall months, you're bound to find Jim out on the St. Clair River chasing after sturgeon in the dark with a hook and line. He's been sturgeon fishing for several years now and loves any opportunity to get rookies involved in the sport. He's also interested in the conservation aspect of the sturgeon population and is working towards helping out in that arena.
Yeah, well, myself and a few friends are actually starting a Sturgeon for Tomorrow chapter here. We're in the initial stages of development. We haven't really gone public with it yet, but that's going to happen in the very near future.
Cool. Why do you think it's important to have a chapter like that down here?
We have a unique fishery here. It's one of the very few self-sustaining fisheries in the Great Lakes in terms of the St. Clair River. There are some efforts right now to reestablish a viable sturgeon population in the Detroit River. That's the focus would be what we call the Huron-Erie Corridor.
A new Sturgeon for Tomorrow chapter is exciting news here in the Detroit area, but the excitement at the moment here in the Spearing Shack was pretty good too.
Sweet!
Fast. He's going to grow up a little bit yet. He's, I think, in shock. He doesn't know what happened to him.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
There
he goes. Wow, what a relief. Good call. I'm over there thinking about switching out decoys. Good thing you got a better eye than I do.
Nice one there, hey?
Yeah.
I barely got the camera on again for this one. They just come through, lull us to sleep with no action, and then...
Out that way. I hope I got him or not. It was a Hail Mary shot.
Hey, work! Nice! Boy, I barely hit the camera. Those big ones don't stick around long, do they?
Yeah, he's a keeper, too.
Hey! All right. You're quick on the draw with that rod there.
Well, the fish was one of the few aggressive fish. Came in fast. Big fish.
You got him.
All right.
You got him. Sweet.
The thing is, did you get him?
I got him too, I think.
Okay, good.
Spearing perch out here on Lake St. Clair is an absolute blast. If you've never tried it, you're really missing out. It's just one more way to enjoy this winter water wonderland that is Michigan Out of Doors.
Well, even a slow day of perch fishing usually means you've got some fillets for the dinner table. And whether that's perch or walleye, this next recipe would work very well.
Hello everyone, my name is Jim Wood. I am the chef at the Sanctuary Ranch in Stanwood, Michigan. Today I'm bringing you a walleye recipe. It's going to be seared walleye with caramelized fennel and corn relish with a sauce beurre blanc, which is a butter wine type sauce. First we have here, which is some chopped fennel. It's diced kind of small. We're going to caramelize that. After we caramelize that, we're going to add some, this is roasted or grilled corn, about 2 cobs full. Once that cooks, we're going to add some of these beautiful tomatoes I took from my garden. They're super sweet. We don't want them to be 100% cooked, kind of semi-raw. After that's done, we're going to make a sauce. Here we have a tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of cider vinegar, and a 1/4 cup of white wine. I use Chardonnay. We're going to reduce that down to about a teaspoon, and then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. We're going to reduce that down by half, and then we're going to add what appears to be a lot of butter, and it is. It's a 1.5 sticks of butter, and we're going to kind of whisk that in, add some salt and pepper. It's kind of tangy, but the fat kind of balances out the flavors of everything. You don't have to use a lot of the sauce. It goes a long ways, so you're not going to be dipping it in it or anything like that.
I had never cooked with fennel before, but it sure worked well with this recipe. Once that was caramelizing, we started the sauce. Jim would whisk in the butter very methodically so that the consistency stayed about the same. Once the fennel was right, he dropped in the roasted corn just to warm it through.
Right, now that we have our pan good and smoking, we'll go ahead and add our walleye skin side down. We're trying to achieve some crispiness out of it, so we want to keep it pressed down for the first initial couple seconds. Get it all browned up. Kind of watch out, the oil will spit at you a little bit. You don't want to do much to fish. Like I said, God created this creature. It's almost perfect. You don't really want to manipulate it any more than you have to. So like I said, salt, if you want to add pepper, fine. And then I'm just, just basically caramelizing both sides of it, browning it. And that's about it.
The sauce and relish were ready to go. Now we just needed to put them all together.
Now go ahead and lay our fish over our relish, kind of like so. I'm going to take some of our sauce here. We're going to put some around the plate. And then we'll take a little more sauce and just kind of put it over the top like that. And we'll come over and finish it with a little bit of our chive. And there you have it.
This was a fairly simple recipe, and the fish was really good with the sauce and the relish. If you'd like to get the entire recipe, just check out the recipe section on our website. A few weeks back, I was able to tag along with my good friend Jim Miller from the Countryside Kennels in Bad Axe, Michigan. Jim was out doing a little training with one of his young labs. We were not working on basic obedience or water retrieves. This is one of Jim's antler dogs. Training antler dogs to find sheds is becoming a big deal. So as we hit the woods, Jim explained how this all works.
Yeah, when I go, my typical gear is a backpack to put them in. I carry a compass, maybe a small folding saw in case we happen to find one that's passed away, and also some water for the dog. But what I will do is occasionally with a young dog like this, it's only 8 months old, I'll hide an antler here and there just to keep him excited about what we're doing, keep him on track. I don't want him to lose focus. He may start chasing, he could chase birds or just lose his interest a little bit. But if I keep that bone out there once in a while, let him get an antler or two, that keeps him on track, and we seem to do much better.
This is not a polished adult. This was an actual training session with an 8-month-old pup. Now, Jim works these dogs almost every day, and from what he says, they're never too young to start working with antlers.
Honestly, I think it's with anything, the younger the better. I want that antler to be king in that dog's life. I want that dog to know that to earn a reward, he has to be able to get me an antler. That has to be number one priority. We've got 8-week-old pups chasing them around the yard and carrying them around. This dog here, when he was 4 months old, I really started investing some time into him. Basically, we worked 5 days a week for 2 solid months. And at the end of that, I did have him retrieving to hand, actively searching. Now, he doesn't quarter quite as well as I'd like. He's not a real big running, searching type of dog. But he's very thorough, and he does a very adequate job for an 8-month-old pup. I think as he gets older and his confidence builds and he learns the game, he's going to be outstanding. Okay, Jimmy, what we got is he found an antler, and his reward was a tennis ball. He will do anything to earn the privilege of playing with that tennis ball. Everything we do is praise-oriented training. So it's a reward-based program. So he found his prize and earned his reward. Very simple.
A positive reinforcement with a tennis ball is done by several narcotics dogs as well. Jim has started using this process more and more as the antler dog demand is growing.
We're seeing this all over. I was in Columbus, Ohio last weekend. We sold 7 shed dogs down there. There is a waiting list. We have 4 of those pups that aren't born yet. And I've got a program where you buy a pup off me, stays right with me for 6 months. You pick him up at 6 months of age, and you've got a dog working very similar to this one. Anything you do, whether it's your hobby or your relationship or your career, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. That's a great word of advice, and I get so much out of these dogs because they give it right back. It's a beautiful thing.
Antler dogs are just another way to do what we all want to do, that is extend our hunting seasons. For many, shed hunting is another way to be in the woods more often, and that is always a good thing. So whether you try it yourself or you have a guy like Jim help you out, a good shed dog may be something to consider this year in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Coming up over the next few weeks, hopefully we'll have some more last of the season ice fishing for you. We've also been working on our Big Buck Nights. Last month we were in Novi at Outdoorama taping Big Buck Night Part 1. And later this month on March 21st, we'll be in Grand Rapids at the Ultimate Sport Show taping Big Buck Night Part 2. Both of those shows will air the first 2 weeks in April.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Big buck nights are always a lot of fun, and if you are free next Thursday night, March the 21st, we'll be there at the DeVos Place in Grand Rapids. There are going to be some big bucks and some big stories as well. If you missed part of this week's show or last week's show, want to see what we've been up to, you can always check out our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com. We have full episodes of the show there, and you can watch us on your mobile device as well. And if you're on Facebook, we're on there pretty much every other day or so, letting you know what's going on as we try to bring you a brand new episode of Michigan Out of Doors every week of the year. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Zimmer Roofing and Construction in Port Huron, featuring Duralast roofing systems made in Michigan. Zimmer Roofing and Construction provides installation, maintenance, service, and repair, serving commercial and residential clients on the web at zimmerroofing.com. By Showspan, producing consumer shows that include the Ultimate Sports Show in Grand Rapids. Over 350 exhibitors, outdoor gear, boats, seminars, Lake Ultimate, and Big Buck Night. The Ultimate Sports Show at the DeVos Place in Grand Rapids. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
I know it. They are not jumping in the boat today, but he was definitely worth the wait.
It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine.